Since I've made a video, and it's kind of the first one in a little while, so it might be a little rusty. Anyway, I just watched the Ghostbusters trailer, and I know there's been a lot of commentary on it already, so I'm going to try not to repeat things that have already been repeated. But I have heard a lot of things like in the media and in a lot of these videos where you'll see these guys say they'll come off and say it's not because they're all female that I don't like this movie. It's not because they're all female that this movie sucks. Well, let me tell you something. You could call me sexist if you want. You could call me misogynist if you want. But it is because it's an all-female movie. That's why it sucks. Just take a look at the funniest comedians of all time. If you go like on Ranker and look at a list of the funniest comedians of all time, you're going to see about 80 to 90% of those people on that list are men. And when you look at the top like 20 or 30, it's almost exclusively men. There's like one or two women in there, but I hate to say it, but most women are just not funny. And it makes sense as to why they're not funny, is because they don't have to be funny. It's a technique men use to court women, and they've been using it for hundreds and thousands of years. So we've kind of perfected it, and women just they've never had a need to be really funny. So that's why you don't see very many funny women. I'm not saying there are no funny women, but they're hard to find. I mean, I've met women that I laughed at. They would say a joke, something like that. But generally speaking, by themselves as kind of like a stand-up or a standalone comedian, most women are just not funny. They don't deliver very well when it comes to jokes. Men tend to be a little more descriptive and a little more crude. And that's always been part of our nature and part of our characters. So we can get away with the crude and crass jokes because we're just known for that. We're men. We're known to get dirty and sweat and stink and everything else. So when you hear something crude from a man, you kind of expect it. When you hear it from a woman, it just doesn't. I don't know if it's the delivery, or it could possibly be some kind of internalized thing that some men like me have, or we just don't find it funny. It just doesn't. It doesn't deliver the same way. And when I watched the Ghostbusters movie or the trailer, I just wasn't feeling any of the jokes. There's none of them were funny. It seemed like the jokes were. I hate to repeat what a lot of other people have said, but like slapstick comedy, they're like sketches, like exactly like SNL, which is where most of these women came from. And when I watched the trailer, I kind of reminded me. I was like, this kind of feels like a parody. It doesn't feel like Ghostbusters. Like how Top Gun had Hot Shots. It wasn't really meant to look like Top Gun. It was supposed to be stupid, and it was supposed to mock the original movie. And how I don't know. There's several movies out there with like all the horror movies that were out there in like the 90s, Jason and Freddy Krueger and all those other. They had scary movie. It wasn't supposed to be a remake of Jason or Freddy Krueger or any of those other movies that they were making fun of. It was purposely dumb, but they didn't call it Freddy rebooted. So I don't know. I think they missed the mark on this big time, and I think they're going to pay for it. It's just horrible. It's horrible. I was so looking forward to something coming out that was actually good. When they talked about it years ago, I thought maybe they would come out with, at least if not I just never expected for them to say like it's going to be an all-female cast, and then I thought, that's not going to be funny. It's just not going to be funny because I've never seen a show with all females in it that I thought was funny. At best it was a mix of males and females, and the funny part was the relationship that males and females had with each other, and how they interacted. But I've never seen like an all-female thing that I thought was funny. Now, there may have been movies that catered to women specifically that women thought were funny because it was other women, like I don't know, like the Bridesmaids is a good example, and chick flicks that women kind of thought, oh yeah, that's kind of funny, but guys wouldn't touch those movies. They wouldn't go anywhere near them. They didn't want to sit through a chick flick. So what were they thinking? I was like, you're gonna turn Ghostbusters into a chick flick. You're taking a movie with mostly a male audience. I'm not saying all of them are male, but mostly it's a male audience. It's a male comedy, and you turn it into a chick flick. Who's gonna want to see that? That's like you're gonna take like Rambo, reboot it, and put all females in it. Who's gonna want to watch that? I don't know. Anyway, put your comments in there and below and tell me what you think. That's just my take on it. So yeah.